What is up, you guys? Welcome to another video.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry.
My name is Miss Linnell. If you are not new here, hi and welcome back. If you are new here, I do not know what brought you here, but I love that for us. On this channel, we talk about all things life, because life is life in the hell out of all of us, and we are going through it together right here, right now on this channel. But mainly we talk about femininity, personal development, and now motherhood, because I'm a mother. So if either of those things interest you, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. Today, we are diving into a topic that is incredibly important and it's difficult to talk about. We're talking about toxic relationships. I feel like this is a time of the year where relationships are kind of like at the forefront, right? With the new year coming in, it's the end of the year. It's the holiday season. There's a lot of love going on. A lot of people are getting engaged or getting married. Or just getting in relationships. And then on the other end, you got people who are contemplating their relationship, reflecting on their relationship, especially with the new year coming in. And the way that this topic came about is because I've been having conversations with a lot of people about their current relationships, and a lot of them are reflecting and contemplating on their relationships, not wanting to go into the new year doing the same old song, right? Same old dance, same old song. So I've been having a lot of conversations with family and friends about their relationships. And I was like, let me do a video about what we have been talking about. So I decided to do this video and to just talk about some signs of a toxic relationship and maybe some ways to actually address those and fix those. Now, listen, not everything in a relationship can be fixed, right? But there are some things that can be fixed. And it just kind of depends on the dynamic of the relationship. But everything that we talk about today, I am going to try to give like a solution, like how to fix this in a relationship. Yeah, so basically, I'm just here to help you identify whether those things in relationships are actually toxic, how to fix them, and if necessary, maybe you need to walk away. If you do find this video helpful, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let's get into it. So the first sign that a relationship may be toxic is constant criticism. This is when feedback turns into constant criticism. It literally chips away at your self-esteem. And this isn't just about pointing out your mistakes. This is literally about belittling your character, you as a person, making you feel like you can't do anything right. Criticism crosses the line when it starts to attack you as a person and who you are, rather than addressing specific behaviors or specific scenarios. Literally, dealing with constant criticism in a relationship can make you feel like you're walking on eggshells, afraid to make a mistake, which is unfortunate because no one's perfect, right? We all make mistakes. You have to make mistakes in order to learn. An example of criticism in a relationship could be something like, you're so lazy, or why can't you be like so and so's girlfriend and your boyfriend? You can't do anything right. I have to fix everything that you mess up. Why do you even try? You're not good at this. Now, sometimes it's not always intentional, right? There are people out there who have a very critic sense of humor, and it's just kind of how they get on, right? Talking shit is how they get on. That's their personality. They don't necessarily mean any harm by it, but if they are not careful, it can be very harmful and it can damage a lot of relationships. So if you are somebody who has a critic personality and you know that about yourself, like you're always talking shit to your person, tread lightly with that, because what may be funny to you may not be funny to them. And in turn, you're actually just breaking down their self esteem. Criticism is a way of breaking down someone's self esteem. It makes them feel inadequate and unworthy of love. Now, a way to address it and or fix it is by calmly just saying, when you say things like that, it makes me feel like X, Y, and Z. It makes me feel undervalued or, unloved or unworthy. Try using I statements. Statements like, I feel hurt when you say this. I feel hurt when you say that. Small shifts in language can diffuse tension and promote understanding. And the key here is to encourage both partners to use constructive feedback instead of criticism. Next is control and manipulation. Control can be overt or obvious, right? Like telling you what to wear or where you can go, or it can be covert or subtle, right? Like using emotional manipulation to get their way, or guilt trips, or making decisions for you in a disguise of, I know what's best for you. So an example of this would be someone who says, you don't need to hang out with your friends tonight, you should stay here with me. Or you don't need to hang out with your friends tonight, you should spend your time with me instead. Or if you really love me, you would do this for me. So a way to fix this or address it is going to be like just basically calling it out. Honestly, just call it like you see it. I feel like you're controlling me. I do not like it. That's not okay. We need to make decisions together. And also make sure you're reinforcing your boundaries. I value spending time with you, but I also need to see my friends too. And I hope you can understand that. Next is lack of trust. Okay, you cannot build a house without a foundation, right? Trust is foundational. So without trust in a relationship, what do you got? Without trust, a relationship becomes a breeding ground for suspicion, paranoia, and emotional distance. So if there is constant jealousy or snooping around or endless accusations, that is a huge sign, a huge red flag that something is wrong. So, an example of lack of trust would be checking someone's phone or emails or social media without their permission, questioning everything that someone does. Why were you 5 minutes late? Who was all there with you? Why didn't you answer my phone call? Things like that. And this relationship is extremely toxic because it's often rooted in an insecurity and creates just a nasty environment where both partners are going to feel judged and defensive. So, a way to address your lack of trust is to have an honest conversation. You want to have an honest conversation about the root causes of the insecurity. And, ask those questions. What is making you feel this way? What are some things I can do to help reassure you? And within those conversations, make sure you are agreeing on some boundaries for privacy and transparency. Transparency is going to be essential. I am huge on transparency, but also make sure you are avoiding compromising your independence in any way. Next is emotional or physical abuse. Now, I won't go too in depth on this because I feel like once we start talking about abuse, there's a fine line between like talking about it, maybe giving some advice, but also seeking professional help. So I will touch on this just a little bit. This is the most dangerous toxic sign. Abuse can take many forms, right? You got verbal insults, emotional manipulation, physical violence. An example of emotional abuse is going to be something like insulting you in public or in private, mocking you, you're so stupid, no one else would ever put up with you, or gaslighting you, like you're overreacting, that never happened when you know it actually did. Or even withholding affection as a punishment. Like, say you piss someone off, they're like, I'm not gonna kiss you, I'm not gonna touch you, I'm not gonna have sex with you, whatever the case is. And then examples of physical abuse are obviously going to be things like hitting, slapping, kicking, spitting, or intimidating you by throwing objects at you or threatening you with acts of violence, things like that. So a way to fix this is definitely seeking help immediately. Contact a counselor, a trusted friend, a helpline. And just remember that abuse is never your fault, okay? You deserve a safe and loving environment always. Next is isolation from family and friends. Isolation happens when your partner tries to cut off your support system, when they are trying to isolate you from the people who care about you and love you and are trying to gain more control over your own life. I have a friend who actually went through this, and it was honestly one of the saddest things because she even had a daughter, an adult daughter, that her then boyfriend also isolated her from. So it's really a sick thing, but it can really happen without you even realizing that it is happening. And an example of someone doing this to you is going to look like, oh, your friends don't really care about you. Why bother spending time with them? Or them getting upset when you decide to spend time with your family or friends instead of them. Or the most common is when they personally start creating drama with your family or friends to cause tension between you and them. So that way you'll stop seeing them. The reason why isolation is so toxic is because it cuts off your support system and it makes you more dependent on your partner, which then makes you more vulnerable for them to be able to control you or abuse you. So a way to fix this or address it is rebuilding your connections. Definitely keep your support system close. Reach out to your family and friends whenever you can, even if it's just a quick call or a text message. Just keep in constant contact with your support system. If it's something that you are going through currently, being open about it and tell somebody about it, talk to them about it so they can give you advice or, just offer support. Next is frequent arguments with no resolution. Listen, I've been here, okay? All couples argue. Some people argue way worse than others. Some people maybe it's not arguments, maybe it's more so disagreements, but all couples have something, right? I've been in a relationship too where the arguments were the same argument over and over and over again without any resolution, which then becomes insanity, right? It's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Yeah, I've been there. That was toxic because toxic arguments are something that is repetitive, hostile, and never lead to any solutions. That was me. Instead, it left me feeling exhausted and disconnected. So, an example of a toxic argument is going to be something like rehashing the same issue over and over again without resolution. Or when an argument resorts to name calling, stonewalling, yelling. Or another example of a toxic argument is an argument that escalates to a personal attack. Oh, you're always like your mama, you always ruin everything, something like that. And the reason why arguments that lead to no resolution are toxic is because unresolved conflicts create resentment and distance, making it hard to repair the relationship over time. A way to address this and or fix it is using active listening during arguments. Repeat back what your partner says to you to ensure that you understand, or taking breaks during heated arguments to cool off and come back at a later time. Or if the pattern persists, may I suggest couples therapy? Just so you have a way to learn a healthier communication skill, because sometimes it could really just be that neither of you two have ever had proper communication. Next is unequal effort. This is a big one, and this is something that I have seen more recently in the couples that I have been talking to. There has been a lot of unequal effort, and relationships require balance. When one partner carries the emotional or physical weight of a relationship, it creates a lopsided dynamic and breeds resentment. An example of someone having unequal effort would be one person always initiating the date, the conversations, while the other one just kind of remains passive. Or when one person is handling all the household responsibilities or the emotional labor, like remembering birthdays and planning events. Or feeling like you're the only person in the relationship that is willing to fix it and to work on it. The other person is just indifferent. Like they could either go either way. The issue here is that unequal effort can leave the invested partner, it can leave them feeling undervalued and drained, while the other one kind of just becomes complacent. So a way to address it and or fix it is having a conversation. I feel like I'm putting more effort than you are into this relationship and it's making me feel underappreciated. Suggest changes like taking turns making plans for date night or splitting the chores at home. Just make sure you're observing whether your partner is actually making an effort to improve, because constant neglect might be a sign of deeper issues. Recognizing these signs is the first step to understand whether your relationship is healthy and it just needs work, or if you just need to walk away altogether. Some issues can definitely be resolved with, like I said, open communication, mutual effort, and understanding. And other things like abuse or manipulation, in my opinion, may require you to walk away for your own well being. Your happiness and safety are non negotiable. And if you're dealing with any of these things right now, just know that you're not alone and that help is always available no matter what. That is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys like this video as much as I did making it. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please let us know in the comments below if I have forgotten any toxic sign in a relationship. These are just the most common ones that I've seen, that I've talked about in recent days. The new year is upon us, so it is time to reflect, and let's not go into the new year with baggage that we don't need to bring with us. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video, and until next time, smooches.
I won't let no one come and take your place, 'cause the love you give, it can't be replaced.